Hello there YouTube, welcome to EGPN. I am your host Faceless303, and today welcome to a special installment of Armory where I will be putting together type of gear and or perks to create great synergy with each other. Today's special episode is me showing you the type of build I'm going to take with me for Trials of Osiris this weekend. It is the Last Guardian build. Basically, it's all about you ever being the Last Guardian, and you want to make that type of struggle be a little easier on you and actually give you a chance on surviving and actually winning and clutching it for your team when it really matters, then this is the build for you and this is the build I'm using. You combine the Stag with the Sunsinger with Dragon's Breath in order for you to deal damage over time and for you to stay alive and to respawn at least with an overshield 2 times if possible, depending on the Stag and your chances. So let's go into deeper detail with the Sunsinger build. We're using the Scorch build, basically with Viking's Funeral and Touch of the Flame. This combined with your Firebolt Grenade and even your Scorch ability with the Flame Shield can make your opponent deal damage and make them like burn over time. It's almost like during the Thorn years where a Thorn managed to hit you, you will be taking damage over time. That's basically what it is. This is the reason why I like this build, because you're a walking Thorn. Your grenades act like Thorn, your melees act like Thorn, and all you have to do is shoot them in order to finish them off or let them burn on your own, giving you some post-mortem kills if necessary. And of course, when it comes to trials, it's always the ever-popular Fireborn, the ability to resurrect yourself from the dead, especially in a critical moment where if all your teammates die and you're dead, and of course you did die, using this can give you that second chance to make sure you actually win it for your team, and triggering your Stag ability to either give you that overshield once respawn, making you a lot easier for you to stay alive and for you to just toss grenades, melee them to get you that other overshield if needed, and for you to survive and maybe clutch it or resurrect your team to reset the game. That's what makes Fireborn such a powerful ability, and this is usually the setup. I like to believe this is usually the setup that most Sunsinger Warlocks use, no matter what type of Sunsinger build they're going. Even if they're going with a Radiant Skin version, they would usually go with this type of build, or they would use the Fusion Bolt Grenade for the Gift of the Sun, which is a discussion in the build for a different time. So that's basically what it is. I do like to focus heavily on armor and recovery, because in Trials of Osiris, especially with this build, you want to stay alive as much as possible. And with this, you can get your armor back, and with this, you can regenerate your health back, which is very good. So yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just based on burning your opponent, helping you survive more, and having the chance to resurrect to get that overshield if needed, and to give you that second chance. Now, the most important piece is, in fact, the Stag. The Stag has an ability where you have a chance, once per life, you have a chance to respawn with an overshield. And if people don't know about this in Trials of Osiris, in between rounds, when a round is over and you lose, but then you go to the next round, basically game 2 out of 5, you have a chance to respawn with that overshield, because that's considered a respawn. It's almost like the Void Fang, where after a match and you then respawn to the next match, you will be charged with a fully charged grenade, and this one you have a chance to be respawned with a overshield, which already puts you over the edge against your opponent, making you a lot more harder to kill, making you stay alive longer, and giving you a chance to beat them after a couple shots, making you stay alive longer, giving you more time. Not only that, it also has a very unique perk, almost like Last Resort, where if you're the last surviving Guardian, your super charges faster. So basically, the longer you live, the faster your super will charge, and the better chance you'll have to have it for either next round or that round in order for you to clutch it. So that's what we're using it for. It also has very high discipline stats, which is actually very important for this particular build. Now you're all probably wondering why Dragon's Breath of all heavy weapon exotics, or even for any exotics in general, when you know Truth can do it a lot better, where Legendary Rocket Launcher can do it better, where you can replace your 1000 yard stare for anything else as the exotic, or even replace Reflection Stone for the exotics piece. The reason why we're using Dragon's Breath is because, like Sunsinger and its grenades and dealing damage over time with its melee, Dragon's Breath is there for control and damage over time. A good example is if your teammates manage to kill an opponent and you're in charge of watching it, with Dragon's Breath, if you see an opponent walking by getting ready to res, you can fire the blast to the dead body, not to the opponent, and cause there to be a wall of fire. That wall of fire will prevent your opponent from either trying to res him and deal him damage at the same time, making it easier for you to kill. Not only that, if your opponent manages to res your opponent, both of them have a high chance of dying because of the gulp of flame that's out there. That's why we use Dragon's Breath. And I also came to learn that the heavy duty rounds, especially the heavy rounds, are the most important, because you can be in a 3-0 lead and then your opponents win that heavy round. There's a huge chance that because they won the heavy round, they get that motivation back. They can actually come back, and it happened several times where a team was 3-0, and then once they lose the heavy round, the other team made it to be 4-3, and now the team that was originally on the lead needs to win 2 games to win it. So it's always good to be prepared for the heavy round and to use the best heavy. Usually the exotic slots should be for heavies for Trials of Osiris, that being Dragon Breath or Truth. Of course, if Gallahorn was around, that would probably be the #1 choice. Alright, so we already talked about the whole idea of the build and its 3 main components, that being the Sunsinger Revive with damage over time with Stag and Dragon's Breath controllability. What about the supporting pieces? Well, I'm using the Reflection Sun for that. And you're probably wondering, why am I using a pulse rifle after it got nerfed, even though the nerf wasn't really that bad, where you can use a hand cannon, which can be even more effective, or an auto rifle because they got more damage, or hell, even a scout rifles you can use long distance. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to Trials of Osiris, at average, the game is going to be fought in a mid-range level. With that being said, auto rifles, they're strong, yes, but strong at close quarters. That's the whole point. You know what I mean? If they make it close and personal, then you'll be successful, which is very possible to do, but at average and more naturally, the game will always be in a mid to long range fight. That's why I don't use an auto rifle. If the game at average is most likely going to be a mid-range fight, then why don't you use a hand cannon? Well, the fact is that hand cannon is a mid-range to close range. If shotguns were more prevalent in Trials of Osiris, like they used to be, then I would be using a hand cannon. However, they're not. Sniper rifles are the most prevalent. And the best way to challenge a sniper rifle is with a pulse rifle or a scout rifle. And the reason why I'm using a pulse rifle and not a scout rifle is because the pulse rifle can fight very effectively in both mid-range and far range. Of course, it's more dominant in the mid-range area, giving you a better chance to win. And with that being said, I'm using the Reflection Sun Adept with the Last Resort. I'm using this No Time to Explain archetype pulse rifle because the No Time to Explain archetype is the perfect balance. It gives you that ability to be aggressive, maybe not as successful or as aggressive as the Bad Juju archetype, but it will give you the same results. Same thing if you want to take it back and be a passive player, it will give you the same results as a Red Death archetype. Maybe not as pretty or as dominant, but still gives you the same results because of its balance. And that's what you need with this build. You want to be balanced. There are times where you need to hold back, especially if you're the last guardian. There's times where you have to make major decisions if you want to be passive for a little bit, and then when they're rushing, you need to be aggressive in a certain instance. That is why this particular archetype is the best archetype, because you can choose and you can switch in the middle of nowhere to be either aggressive or passive, which can really be either the make it or break it if you're the last or surviving guardian. Now why Reflection Sun a death over Smite of Marin, the Villainy, or No One's Mercy? Now, don't get me wrong, all those other pulse fighters I named, go ahead and use them if you have them, if you don't have this. But the reason why I'm using this because of its Last Resort perk, which creates great synergy with the Stag. Not only are you getting your supercharge, but your weapon can fire and handle and reload faster when you're the last guardian, giving you a better chance of survival. So that's the whole reason why I'm using it. Not only that, I love the Reflection Sun more than Smite of Marin, more than No One's Mercy, more than the Villainy. This is literally my favorite pulse rifle. That's the main reason why I'm also using it. Not only that, combine that with the damage over time, this particular pulse rifle can one-shot to two-shot people depending on the armor and depending how much damage has been done already, thanks to my grenades and thanks to my Dragon's Breath. So, perfect combination with that. Adds great synergy thanks to the Last Resort perk. And the one thing I did not mention also is that it's Army of One. Because its Trial of Osiris is a 3v3 elimination, it is not uncommon for you to actually win a one-on-one encounter without being assisted. So you can actually trigger this perk a lot more than you would think. Now, like I mentioned before, sniper rifles are the most prevalent. You want to use a sniper rifle that can res snipe. I use the 1000 yard stare. Other people use that one sniper rifle that you got from the gunsmith in Arms Day with Luck in the Chamber, which is also very successful because these can res snipe. And simple fact reason that shotguns, ever since they got hit pretty badly, this has been the best way to do it. He's been using sniper rifles instead throughout the entire thing. And even during year 2 for Trials of Osiris, sniper rifles have always been prevalent at all times. So why fight the meta when you can use the 1000 yard stare and get res snipe and help you body shot people? Not only that, just like the reflection sum, all you need is that one tick of damage with the overtime thanks to your grenades or melee, and just body shot them with 1000 yard stare and they're dead. Completely good. Not only that, because of the nerf that Sunbreaker Titans have, you can actually one-shot them in the head with 1000 yard stare now, which is very easy to pull off and a very good way to stop them from rampaging and taking the round for them, because there have been so many times where I lost a round because of the Sunbreaker. I'm glad they got nerfed to the point where you can actually snipe them. Of course, it still takes some skill to do that, and of course, Sunbreakers are still sort of powerful. Not sort of, they still are powerful. That's a good way. You have an answer to it. Best way is 1000 yard stare, black spindle, or anything with a high impact, making it very strong. Now, with that being said, what about the rest of this pointing cast? Like basically the ghost, your artifact, and your ban. Well, mine is focusing heavily on the grenade aspect, which means I want to go for ghost, artifacts, and bans that have high discipline and or high intellect. The reason why I want the intellect is so I can help my stag out get my super quicker and faster, which is good. So that's what I got right here. As you can see, my ghost has a 31 discipline. The 22 strength does come in handy sometimes because I do want my scorch to come back a little quickly, as if it could. This one, of course, gives me the 30 intellect, but 86 discipline, which is very important. Right here, 22, 31, perfect combination right there. And that's basically what you want when it comes to these three pieces. For the boots, I'm using the Trials of Osiris boots, especially with the Last Hope perk, where it increases your agility after being the last guardian standing. Which basically means when you're alone, you are going to run. Alright, I don't care what you're doing. You could be Rambo all you want, but you have to run away from certain doom, and this boots are the best way to do it because you can run a lot faster, and because you can run a lot faster, you can avoid more things, and the more you avoid, the longer you stay alive. The longer you stay alive, the stag will trigger, and as long as you stay alive, the last resort will trigger as well. It also helps that it also increases the amount of ammo you can carry with your sniper rifle, which is very good. The Trials of Osiris chest piece sadly does not have a last resort type of perk. It gives you, however, it gives you the ability of giving you increased armor when using a solar-based subclass. So that's what's important. And when it comes to the gauntlets, it's not really that much important unless you have intellect and discipline. So that's it for the build. I hope you guys enjoy. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.